people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another Chelsea news show. And we've got loads to get into today, guys, loads, because it's more and more coming out as the day goes on in terms of selection of the shortlist of managers. McKenna. Is it McKenna? Is it Enzo Maresca? Is it Zerbi? Is it a new one? Amorim. There's four individuals, three confirmed, and one in the question mark. One that they're not releasing. One that we do not know about. One that we're going to be discussing. We're going to be going through every single manager on today's show, guys. We've got the panel coming in as well. Make sure you're smashing the likes, subscribe. We've also think we're going to have Ben Jacobs on as well next week, guys. So make sure that you stay tuned. Maybe tomorrow, actually. I'm hoping it's tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Smash the likes. Let's cue the intro. Loads to get into. Let's do this. People, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another Chelsea review. For Chelsea review? You can tell I'm just not with it today. Honestly, my day today, I can't even explain it. I have had so much on my plate, and on the back of this, I'm getting message after message after message after message about news in and around the managers as well, which we're going to be highlighting. We are talking about the news in and around Chelsea managers. The shortlist selection. That's what we're getting into. Who is it? Who? We're being told 3, but all of a sudden in recent news, we're now being told 4. And there's one big question mark behind one, maybe extra individual that are joining a list of names that we've got to release to go through now. What we're going to be doing, guys, is we're going to be going through each of those managers. I've got some stuff to go through on them as well. We are going to be bringing you up-to-date news as well. Like I said, we're looking to potentially bring on interesting stuff, man. It's starting to heat up a bit. I'll continue bringing you news that keeps coming out as we speak as well, guys. Let's see what happens. But let's see what everyone's saying in the chat. Nearly 200 people in the building already. Big up every single one of you. Big up Tyson. Yes, there is a protest. Well, there was a protest. I don't know if the protest is still going on because apparently the tweet on Twitter got removed by someone. So I don't know what's going on with that protest, but there is a potential protest going on, guys, on Sunday for not more so to do with the manager that's being selected, but more to do with the overall way that the owners are running this football club and the type of names that they're putting to the ball together as well. But we're going to analyze these managers. We're going to talk about these managers. Yeah, because we have got three names confirmed with a 4th. So let's see what's going on. Mahaba, how you doing? Good to see you. Ashwab, Malcolm, what'd you say? Why don't you organize a protest? Well, there's a protest being organized, bro. Migista, how you doing? Good to see you. Leo, everyone in the building, come and say hello. Guys, out of the shortlist that you've got in so far, who is your favored manager? I want to know. Out of the shortlist. Yes, there's a question mark on the number 4. We're going to talk about the number 4. I think it's between 2 people. I think the number 4 out of the manager choices is for 2 people. And we're going to delve into specifically who that could be as well, guys. 250 people in the building. Where is Clown Lake? Eki, how you doing? Dixon, good to see you. Who else we got here? Adnan, big up to you. Perkin, big up to you. I want Neil Warnock. Jesus. Poch deserved a chance. Adash still living in the Poch. We got Xavi. People think Xavi is an option as well. Let's do the protest. McKenna. McKenna. We've got our McKenna here. Okay, well, listen. We're going to analyze them all. We're going to analyze every single manager. So let's get straight into things, shall we? Let's get straight into things, guys. Keep smashing the likes, though, for me, guys. We need to get these likes up. If you can, please run up the likes. Let's go. Let's start with this, because this was the earlier breaking news that came out in and around an hour and a half ago. Breaking is that Chelsea have narrowed down their search for Mauricio Pochettino's successor to the 4 candidates. Kieran McKenna, Enzo Maresca, Thomas Frank, and an unknown. Now, I'm hearing in other news that Thomas Frank has actually been removed from that list, along with Hunes and one other as well. Hunes, Frank, and someone else. Mikel, the guy from Genoa that was over there. They're the 3 that I've heard has been pulled out. But this says something from, and this is from Matt Law. Matt Law's confirmed that Thomas Frank's still in the run, which is interesting. Chelsea have dropped interest in Stuttgart, Sebastian Hunes and Girona's Mikel as well, which is interesting. Very, very interesting. So 3 names there. 2 of them, championship managers. Championship ball managers taking over this football club. The third is a Premier League coach, but when you think about the strategy, the system, the possession-based ball football that we want to be playing, is Thomas Frank the right guy? Because when I think of Thomas Frank, I think counter football. So how the hell is Thomas Frank in this as well? How is in it? And then there's an unknown. Then there's the unknown. And the unknown could be the one. Because for me, these could all be mirrors. Now, I know what we're talking to maybe all of these and maybe have moved them aboard. But there is, and I stick to what I say, Todd Bowley, Egbali, they both have a specific individual that they both want. It has to be one of these 4. For sure, in my opinion. We have to get it spot on. And the thing is, the unknown's the real question mark, because why is it an unknown? Why is it an unknown? How can we not know who the unknown is? Jem checked Alex's tweet. We trust me, we got that. Trust me. I've got Amorim. I've got Zerbi. I've got all of that. Trust me, we've got a lot to be going through right now, guys. Lots to be going through. Make sure you're hitting the likes. Over 300 people in the building combined. Get the likes up, guys. Come on. Run it up, run it up, run it up. If you're not hitting the thumb, you don't love Chelsea. Come on, guys. Enough is enough now. We Chelsea FC don't want to get championship managers. It's a joke. Chelsea Dan's angry. Are we angry? Are we angry? Are we angry that these owners are trying to force Kieran McKenna and Enzo Maresca down our throats? Are we? Or do we need to look at it in more detail? Do we need to break it down? Do we need to actually think and try and see what they're seeing? Because remember, guys, Paul Winstanley, Lawrence Stewart, you man, you're the ones that are actually making these decisions right now. And when I say decisions, I mean to put forward to the owners. You are the man. You guys are the man. Second half thinks this unknown is all PR. What do you mean? Why do you think it's all PR? What, you think number 4's the one that's going to be the one? Come on, tell us. Tell us, because this is out of our long list of 10, 15 managers. This is what we've come to. This is what we're being given. And we're going to break them down, because even though we can moan about 2 of them being championship and the other one being a Premier League proven, but counter of football, and then they're not knowing the unknown, because the unknown is still the unknown. They want to keep them so like out of the mirror. No journo knows about the unknown. No one needs to know about that person. Is that the person? Is it? Is that the person? This list is nasty and proper where Amorim has a cup final on Sunday. Interesting. We're going to get into all of that anyway. So we move on and we're going to analyze these guys, because that's what we do. And yes, a 4th individual is in the running. I repeat, a 4th individual, but via Matt Law, who was also the one that announced Pochettino on mutual consent not long ago, has confirmed there is currently an unknown high-profile 4th candidate in the Chelsea job. So wait a sec. Wait. Let's rewind. This is what don't make sense to me. The person's unknown, but all they know is they're high profile. 1 second. More stuff coming in. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Can't say. Okay. We'll see. There is currently a known high-profile fourth candidate in, and I wouldn't deem. What is high profile for me, guys? What is high profile? Firstly, what are they deeming as high profile? I need to know. What like? Do you know what I mean? Like, Joey, how you doing? Big up to you as always, bro. Because first you're saying it's unknown, and then you're saying it's high profile. So are you talking about Mourinho, Tuchel, Klopp? What's on high profile? Pies' tweet. Pies! What's Pies retweeted? Let's have a look. Let me quickly have a look before I continue because we've got so much to get into. I understood that Kieran McKenna is. No, that ain't Pies anyway. I don't know who that is. Pies' tweet. Pies is tweeting a lot. He is for sure. What's Pies' tweet? There's nothing new. There's nothing new there, mate. There's nothing new there, mate. McKenna in. Zerbi. Oh, I've seen this McKenna Zerbi. Shouldn't have sat Poch. Zerbi is not a high profile. Well, let's go. Let's get into it. And this is what we're going to do right now. We're going to delve into these managers that have been selected to have received on the shortlist. And we're going to start from here because Chelsea dropped interest on Hunes and Mikel, Frank, McKenna, Maresca have all made it to the shortlist by an unnamed fourth. We know that. Cool. We've got to that position. Let's start with Enzo Maresca because in recent news, and I'm talking very recent news, at 3:21 p.m., we had this from Alex Crook. Now, listen, I don't really listen to Alex Crook. I really don't. I'm not, he's not someone that he works at TalkSport. I mean, let's be serious. But at the end of the day, Chelsea are set to ask Leicester for permission to speak to Enzo Maresca. TalkSport understands. Now, this isn't anything new because there will be another interview phase. So now they've done the first part, there will be a due diligence to do the second. And Winstanley and Stewart are going to be sitting in front of these men, along with one other individual who we don't know yet so far, to be confirmed. Right? Now, who is Maresca? Well, we know he's from Leicester. We know that he's, again, another manager that's managed to bring up Leicester in promotion. We know that he was Pep's understudy. We know that he has relationships with Cole Palmer and Lavia in helping them win the trophy of the PL2. We know he has certain relationships with certain individuals. We also know this. Well, we've only just sort of known this. Someone that is pushing it more than anyone in the team, in the board right now, Joe Shields. Joe Shields has put a good word in for Leicester manager Enzo Maresca. And this is the thing right now. Because there's going to be, again, a split in the board in decisions. Because if Zerbi is still involved, you know for sure Winstanley is on that. Winstanley is on Zerbi. Like, you don't even have to think too much about that. But then, Joe Shields has obviously put a good word in for Enzo Maresca as well. So we have these options. But what type of managers are they? What type of managers are they? What can we expect? Some people don't know. What is the system? What is the style? How do they play the football? Who is Enzo Maresca? Well, that's all we know for now. I like Joe Shields, though. I like Joe Shields. Listen, Joe Shields is the one that made the right decision on Lavia. Cole Palmer. He's also, I'm pretty sure he's involved in slightly to do with the Jackson. Joe Shields, in all of this, should be the one actually at the front doing these, for me, should be doing these manager checks based on what he's done to this point now. Because Winstanley and Stewart just fucking, I don't know what they're doing. So far, we should be looking at letting Joe Shields be more in control. Give him the sporting director role. Give him the sporting director role. Right. So staying on Enzo Maresca. Well, who is he? What's his style of football? Well, this is what I'm here to do, guys. I'm here to give you more in depth in and around the style you can expect from Enzo Maresca. So this is the type of football. Let's watch it. So what do we notice already? High press. 3 at the back. Three at the back. He likes, again, what? What can you see from this picture here? He likes an inverted fullback. He likes playing with an inverted fullback. Bang. Going back. This here is very, I'll be quite honest with you. It reminds me, I feel like I'm watching Pochettino. Look, watch, and then watch the defenders now. And they fled the box. And that's equally what we're doing now. That there was like, that, I'll give you an example. That is like Badia Shield getting the ball, or Kukurea. Say that's Kukurea, sorry. Kukurea getting the ball, playing the ball into Palmer, who gets the ball, plays it into Mudryk or Sterling, who crosses the ball. Jackson's gone near post, and then God knows who's at the back. Madwakey and Gallagher are at the back. Like that is, it looks exactly the same. Like, can you see what I mean? Like the football, the football looks exactly the same. Does it not look the same? Is it me? The build-up play. Like they got rid of Potts, fair dues and whatever, but are we looking for a specific system, like different system, or is it just as of the same so that the players can adapt to it quicker? I don't know. I don't know. Where am I now? Oh, wrong one. So we want to go to this next. And this is another example for you guys. Watch. Staying on Maresca, I'm giving you ideas of the systems. And look, this comment here says Chelsea target Enzo Maresca ball. Bring in young coach. Possession ball style, possession-based style. Okay. Let's go. Inverted fullback. No, sorry, that's the defender. Okay. One lone central midfielder. Someone dropping deeper who's the pivot. You know, a 10, whoever it is sitting there. Palmer coming in and out. Like, I'm watching the build-up and it just feels very the same. I'll be quite honest here. I'm not saying it's bad that it's the same. I'm just saying it looks the same. I mean, that's a great goal. Don't get me wrong. That finish there is good composure, good finish. You know, the pass in the box is amazing. One-touch football in and around, playing little intricate, like in tight position. This is what they're doing. They're playing in tight spaces. All of this is tight spaces. One-touch football. One, bomb. I like that. Bum, bum, bum. As the difference there, I would say, is Madwakey maybe would have took a touch there and tried to run with it rather than do that. You know, and that might be the difference in them sort of tight-knit passes that we just seen from a Maresca team. But it don't look equally that different in setup. The shape, the one in the middle, the inverted fullback, the forwards just inverting and changing. Yeah, they're waiting to find that bit of space for the 10. Once the 10 finds that bit of space, they play it into him, and then they cut people open. It's very the same. You know, it's very, very the same. And that's Enzo Maresca for you. Now, we're going to go on to this next person. The next individual. Keep smashing the likes, guys. Over 500 people in the... Guys, keep running up the likes. Jem, Pies' tweet. What? There's nothing. Is there anything from Pies? Let's have a quick look. I'm trying to give you a detailed breakdown of what we're looking at here. Elise is Manchester United or Chelsea, these two clubs. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Where's Couch? Where's Couch? Guys, holla, Couch Critic. We need him. We need Couch. We need Couch. On top of all of this, Fabrizio Romano has just came out saying Elise is Manchester United's or Chelsea's, these two clubs. Where's my boy? Couch. Where's that Couch Critic? Where's his man? We're going to go to McKenna next. There's his man. Couch. Where is Couch? Couch. Where are you? Get in the chat. I just messaged him. Listen, we'll come back to Elise in a second, guys. Let's move that back to the end. We will talk about that news, though. That's something we'll get into. That's something we get into, you know. We already bid for him. That's true. That is true. But where's Couch? Where's Couch? Right. We move on from that to this. The next person. We've just spoke about Maresca. I've showed you the dynamics, the system, the setup. Looks very Poch-based system. Like I said, 3 at the back, 1 defender, 1 DM, and an inverted fullback. The build-up play is very left and right, like Poch, and the way that we play through the middle is very like Poch. So what does Enzo Maresca do? What does he do if we bring him in? He plays like Pochettino. He plays pretty much like Pochettino. I'll be quite honest with you. On to the next one. McKenna. Chelsea's first choice manager. Chelsea is his preferred destination. Negotiations underway with Ipswich. Kieran McKenna to Chelsea is real. Now, again, who is Kieran McKenna? Well, we know he was the side part of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We know that. We know that he's worked in the past with Jose Mourinho as well. We know that he just took Ipswich up to promotion. We know all these things. We know that there could potentially be a manager in this guy. Maybe. But to go from Ipswich to Chelsea, the jump, the scale from there to there, is it too much of a big job? He has a negative aura is what we're getting here as well. Guys, keep tapping the screens, guys. Also, get the likes up. There's 500 people in the building right now, guys. Make sure we run it up. Let's keep going. Now we're going to look at McKenna. Now we're going to look at McKenna ball. Because this is what we're doing today. We're breaking down the types of styles that we've seen. This right here, my people, is McKenna ball. Okay. Yellow. This is from the back. 4-2-3-1 again. This is his preferred formation. Something that Pochettino was using a lot. Okay. Tight. No inverted fullbacks, but look at now that there is already different to the way Maresca plays. So you can see, let's go back here again. So we received that from the centre backs. What we're doing here is we're playing with natural fullbacks in natural positions right now. Yeah, but what we do here is we play quickly into the midfielder who, look, gets pressed straight away. And that there, to be able to do that in a second is pretty good. You've got to have someone that's very good on the press, that's very press resistant to be able to play in that midfield role. So he receives the ball there, we play it. And as soon as it gets to here, the first move, if you look at the position, is to play that ball out wide into the space. And it seems like he just attacks the space as quickly as possible. They work their way further up the pitch. They get to this position here. Again, from one end to the other, into the next bit of space. So you go from one end to the other and just play it. I mean, that's just a great finish. To be quite honest with you, that's very good football, and that's just a very good finish. I don't know if they got anything else. Are they showing us anything else? No, they ain't. But that's just a quick example, and I'll play again. That's just a quick example of the differences in the type of football. This one that seems to be a little bit more compact, and then play the ball quickly from the back, and then release into space quickly. Bang. And I'm not saying this is how they play all the time, but I watched a lot of their goals earlier on. Couch put a video up of Ipswich's 92 goals that they scored in that period. And a lot of their goals that they scored wasn't really to do about a system, a structure, or how they play. It was more about, and then obviously they've got to have one, but it was more about how they can attack the space quick, how they can quickly play the balls in. Play the balls into that space and then get out the pitch. And then what they do is they find the holes, and then their forwards are either doing one or two things: taking on players and then scoring, or they're driving it into the box, they're playing it across the pitch, and they're looking for the striker. And the strikers that Ipswich used that I've noticed for them was Kiefer and I think a guy called Hunt. Two players that are like big, built number 9s, tall, strong, like, you know. And he stuck to that throughout the season. He stuck to playing that type of striker up front. So I think he's not all about possession based. I think it's more about how He moves the opposition out of position to create space for his team, and then we play into it and play into them holes as quickly as possible. And then it's how quick they move in the transition further forward. So, it's different. It's different. So McKenna is another option, as we already know. I'm going to put the link in the chat for the boys as well. So that's McKenna. Okay. And he's supposedly meant to be the favourite. But then there's a fourth. Someone that we're not aware of. Someone that we're not sure on. We did. We scored a lot of goals. Not that open team press is in the Prem race. Yeah, it's different. And then we got a fourth. But the third's meant to be Thomas Frank. But I don't believe Thomas Frank. I think he got to the next bit, but I don't think Thomas Frank is out of the ones that we're talking about is the one that's going to be selected. I could be completely wrong, but I've heard that he's been removed now anyway. But I might be wrong. I don't know. So, I haven't really looked at Thomas Frank. We know about Thomas Frank, and I don't really need to highlight Thomas Frank's ball because Thomas Frank ball is counter football. It's just strictly counter football. Get the ball and try and move it as quick up the pitch as possible. Do you know what I mean? Now we move on to the one that people are assuming is the owner's choice. And this is the truth. There is an owner's choice. Egbali, Bowley. These two individuals specifically have supposedly agreed on someone from the outset. But the fourth individual of this candidate shortlist has not been named. Now, the one thing we know for sure, as we read here, is that Paul Winstanley has big backing when it comes to Zerbi. The board is split over the potential appointment of Zerbi, but has the backing of Winstanley and Egbali, who is an admirer. Now, for you guys, does that get better? We've moved away from championship managers, coaches, to now Zerbi, Premier League proven, under Brighton. Is he ready for a Chelsea role? Is he good enough for a Chelsea role? Remember, he's a free agent as well at the moment. People think, Zerbi's already had the compensation's been paid to Brighton for Zerbi by an unknown club. Supposed unknown club has paid the compensation to Brighton, which makes him free. So if he's free, surely we can talk about him. But because there's a fourth candidate that's being question mark and not being named, he's another one that we can look at now. And his tactics, which we already know, we've seen a lot of, but let's listen.
What do you expect for them individually? Three forwards, you're blessed with a lot of talent. What do you expect for them individually?
If we want to control the game, we need number 9, smart, intelligent, to understand when he has to play, when he has to attack the space.
See, that right there, if he is to be Chelsea manager, that little bit right there already screams to me Jackson. He wants someone that's very good and intelligent to drop deep and receive. Who in the league is as good as Jackson at dropping and receiving the ball, honestly?
When he has to open this space for Mitoma, for example, or to open this other space. If you work for Brighton, you have to work for the players, first of all. And then, for sure, we can't forget our style. We can't forget through the quality of the play. We can compete with the big teams. In this board, there is myself. There is my history. There is my character. There is my madness, no?
There you go. And he's definitely one of the best centre forwards that hold up, no doubt. So when you look at that specifically in that short little space there of about Zerbi, it goes to show that he kind of has he has a system that maybe will benefit the players more from what we have, possession-based. He likes his 9 to be intelligent. He likes them to be able to drop into space, but he also likes them to create space. Now, I think Jackson does that very well. I think the fact that he drags centre-backs into position and allows others to attack the space is big. It's major. Would he suit what we have? Potentially, yeah. I think he would. Has he got better tools here? More technicians? More people that can do more with the ball? Yeah, he has. Is he of a level of becoming the next thing? I don't know. Do I think that he's also very naive again in how he plays? And you heard him there about this is my system, this is me, basically. This involves everything in and around his history, that. Do I think that he's very naive and just sticking to it, even if it's a bad 3-4 bad run games? Yeah. I don't think he really thinks otherwise, other than how to play. But then these owners supposedly want that. These owners want a manager that comes in and implements a system, a straight system that the players can just follow and be proactive in and benefit from. They want that person to be able to, So it's one of them, isn't it? Does Zerbi fit the bill? Yeah, he does. He does. He does. Zerbi's not going to emerge as Chelsea's coach. His football knowledge is too much for the folks at the top, and they don't want that. Maybe, Vic. Maybe. He still needs another finisher to work off like Osimhen. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we're talking about Zerbi right now. And then there's one more who's in the mists, in the dark, not being spoken about. And it's the comments from Alex Goldberg around Amorim. Amorim, guys. As I just said on playback earlier, I believe Amorim is the guy Chelsea want. And I believe he's very much keen, but is kept under the wraps as much as possible for two obvious reasons. Could be difficult with Sporting, and we don't want to look as if we've failed on our top target. Because remember, the owners both agree on someone. Okay? Secondly, Sporting have a cup final on Sunday. We would want to keep the public distractions low ahead of that. Fair. True. Wouldn't we want to be talking about Amorim being on the shortlist if he's got still football to play for Sporting? I mean, once that's done, maybe we start seeing a move. But if that's the case, nothing's going to happen till next week. Nothing will happen till next week. If Amorim's the guy that we're waiting for, nothing's going to happen till next week. And that's true. That is a true fact. That is a true fact about Amorim. And then we go back and we look. And this is Amorim ball. Direct, pace, aggressiveness to attack spaces. Aggressiveness to attack spaces, but to have the right profiles to do it. Look, again. This is Amorim ball. Very direct, very attacking the spaces. People make it run into spaces as well. Good one-touch football. Look, that's all one-touch football there. That's very good football. One-touch football. 1, 2, 3. Bosh. So for Amorim, it's a little bit different. I don't know what the structure is. I need to see more about the structure. This is more about like the one-touch football in the further ends of the pitch, how they transition. But you're looking at this type of football, and this is pretty impressive. If they're this well drilled, look at them. Look at how drilled they are. It's very good football. It's how quick can we transition, and how quick can we get up the pitch, and how quick can we attack the spaces. So Amorim ball's different. It's different to all three that we've seen. Is it possession based? I don't know. I don't think it is. What I think it is direct attack the spaces and how quick can we transition up the pitch. So tell me one thing. Tell me this one real thing I want to know. Out of what I've highlighted to you guys, the four managers, Amorim, De Zerbi, McKenna, and Enzo Maresca. Enzo, who do you want? Who do you want? Tell me. I want to know in the chat. I want everyone in the chat to let me know out of the 4 that I've shown you and the little clips of the type of football. I want you to show me or tell me out of the 4 who you want. Who is it? I want to know where this fan base is going right now. I want to know where this fan base is going right now. We have got transfer news to cover as well, guys. That's just come out from Fabrizio as well. We're going to get into that in a second and then go back to things. We got some big news in and around Elise, I'm not going to lie. Big news in and around Elise to get into. Tell me, guys. Interesting. I'm just reading the comments about Zerbi from Fabrizio as well. There's a lot going on, actually, guys, that I'm trying to catch up on. That's why I've gone quiet, because I want to share some things with you here. Chelsea are set to appoint a new coach by the end of the week. Not if they want Amorim. Not if they want Amorim. And the longer it takes, I think you'll get a better idea. Interesting. So what are you guys saying in the chat? Amorim, Maresca, Amorim, Zerbi. Out of them 4. Out of them 4. All right, you can throw Thomas Frank in it if you want Thomas Frank. Amorim. Thomas Frank or McKenna. Really? Wow. Wow. Amorim has the highest clause in Europe. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. That's definitely going to be a problem. But who is the mystery man? Is it Zerbi or is it Amorim? Let me just quickly send a link to... let me send the link to Josh if he's not doing anything as well. Let me see if De Zerbi doesn't give freedom to players. Will be a nightmare for Elise, Palmer, and Kunku. Interesting, Tom. Is that your thoughts? Amorim or De Zerbi? Listen, with Amorim ball, it's like you can't lose the ball. I'll be quite honest with you. With Amorim ball, it's like quick 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. And it looks very good to the eye. Don't get me wrong, McKenna. A lot of people want McKenna, you know. McKenna. Hearing a lot of McKenna right now. I'm hearing a lot of McKenna right now. Guys, 500 people in the building as well. 500 people in the building. Josh, what are you saying?
What's up, Jim?
So you see me highlight the 4 managers briefly. Who for yous? Who would you want out of the 4?
Oh man, I'll be honest. It's hard. I would be making a pure speculation guess on the championship level guys. Like I just don't know anything about them. Like McKenna and Maresca. Like I don't not familiar enough with either of their resumes or teams to really
I hear that.
Like to me. Like I think Amorim might have the best pedigree just because of the Portuguese league, the style of play, the atmospheres, like all that stuff sort of transitions really well to the Premier League. He might be the guy I lean towards. It seems maybe not that probable. Like you're saying, they have a game coming up soon. It doesn't sound like we really want to mess with that by and throwing his name in the hat. But yeah, I don't know, Jim. I'm not that vexed about it either way, to be honest with you, on who it is. If it's as long as it's the person who's bought in most to sing out the goals of the club, that's who I'll probably be most on board with. I don't really want somebody who wants to be there for a year and then maybe they want to start to get a bit more ambitious about bringing people in and stuff. I'd rather them be on board with let's just I'll do my job. Let's just build this thing and get it going, because that's really where I think what we need to start doing.
Yeah, I agree.
We've had a couple of seasons where it's like, okay, we're testing the waters on a couple of these. We're trying to build a squad at the same time as trying to get a manager to help along that way. And now I feel like they have a base of a team built, and now it's time to maybe find the guy that wants to stick with and see this out for the next 3, 4 year, 5 years, ideally, right? I mean,
would you as a fan be upset if it was like a Maresca or a McKenna, for example, as some of the other fans are feeling? It feels like there could be protests going on about it because they don't feel happy.
No, absolutely. I would not be upset. And the people who protest, those people are morons. I'll put it that way. It's just becoming now. It becomes a clown show when like everything you disagree with, you now want to have a protest at the club, at the bridge that maybe 12 people go to, and now you look like a fool because now people are posting pictures of the 12 of you standing in a circle with your signs. It's no, obviously not. Whoever it is, we know the names now that are sort of floating around. These are probably going to be one of these guys. So no, I'm not going to throw a big fuss based off who they decide that they think is the right guy.
Yeah,
they're privy to much more stuff than we are, Jim. It's like, most of the fans don't know anything about these guys. They're just upset that it's not like a giant name that they can banter their friends about. Like, oh, we have this guy.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue. I think the not knowing, just knowing that they're coming from a small club and a championship club, just turns people off very quickly. And it's an easy mindset to have. For me, like, yeah, I wouldn't be happy with the fact of us going down the route of a McKenna or someone like that, because I don't know whether it's gonna go into that whole mode of Potter 2.0, which it could do. There's a worry that we could be wasting another year just trusting someone that's just not ready.
I just don't think. Oh, I totally understand that point of view. Like a young guy ready for that step. I mean, there's only one way to find out. Like the day of like these Don managers, these like elite level A-class guys, like they don't exist. Like that is a generation that is leaving the game. They're not coming back to manage young teams and start fresh at 70 years old. Like it's just not in the cards. So I feel, for me, it's like, if you really want to be on board, just back the guy. I mean, for me, Potter just wasn't a very good manager. I think he was probably on board for the long term, but he just wasn't a very good coach. So yeah, they had to reassess that pretty quickly. But
the owners and directors, genuine love. You've got genuine love for the owners and directors, Josh.
I love the club. Yeah, I don't care about managers. Like again, if you're a Chelsea fan, you certainly shouldn't care about managers. This is a club who we actually haven't had a good manager for more than a year for probably like 8 or 9 years now. I mean, we have guys come in, they manage for a good season, we win something, they're gone the next year. Like, this is Chelsea Football Club. I see what they're trying to do as a club. I see the project. I see the vision of what they want to accomplish. This stuff takes more than a season. So if your patience level is a year or two, then I'm sorry, maybe go find another sport for a couple of years until you come back to Chelsea. But I see what they're trying to do. I want them to be successful. So yes, I back the things that they do because I want them to be winning games and succeeding in Europe for the next 7 to 10 years. I want to see that fulfill itself. So yeah, I do back them. I'm not going to bitch and complain about them every single day, which is annoying as shit. And if that's the world you want to live in, where you complain every day, then it's your world, but not me.
Yeah, I hear you, and I get that. And obviously, we're going to go to AJ in a second, as always. I just want to quickly read out this comment from Fabrizio Romano, which come out literally recently, and he says he is honest when he says he doesn't have a club behind him. He is not negotiating with any club. We should keep an eye on him in the next week. He's an attractive manager for many clubs, and that's the most recent news in and around Zerbi. AJ, welcome in, brother. The roller coaster continues. We're being told it's McKenna and Enzo, and potentially there's a question mark over a fourth. There's Frank involved in that as well. Is it Amorim? Is it the Zerbi? Who is it? What is going on? I mean, what's your thoughts on the, should we say, the supposed shortlist at the moment? I'm sure it's going to change again at some point, but what are you saying?
Yo, big up, Jim, Josh.
Big
What's
up.
up? Big up the chat. I mean, I had said it in the in our group chat yesterday. I'm kind of over this manager thing. Like, it's very hard for me to choose a specific manager that I want for this team based on the list that we're getting. I'm not too familiar. Same thing with Josh said. I'm not too familiar with most of the names on the list. Amorim and the Zerbi have been linked with us over the past, like 6 months almost. So, I'm kind of familiar with them. The Zerbi, I'm not the biggest fan. I just don't like the defensive side of his game, of his approach to the game. Some people will say that, with better players, it'll be better. And, that's a good argument, but we're not sure. But I'm just going off what I see. And Amorim, he kind of has that aura, kind of Jose-ish style coming from the Portuguese league, swagger, they're winning, so I kind of like that. The only thing is I'm not too big on the back three managers. I don't really want to go to a back three, but it seems like, because I think the Zerbi plays back three too, right?
Yeah, it can do. It can effectively turn into it. I think it just rotates in and around. For me, it's the build up and how we move the ball further forward, which is different. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
in the style of it. Like when we just watched Enzo Maresca, the way that he moved the ball looked very like Poch. It was very similar when I was watching. Do you get what I mean, Josh? You saw it, didn't you? It was very
it's like a methodical. I think when you. It's like a methodical breakdown of teams. And when you don't have, like, maybe say a guy in your team that can do that one-on-one, you have to break teams down as a team, right? So we fortunately have the luxury of, like, couple of players who can break teams down on their own if need be. So that does free that up a bit. But when I watched, like, the Amorim clips that you're showing, when I see the Amorim clips you're showing, I see a lot of, like, front foot, high paced, attacking football. But to me, like, you better not lose the ball in that style of play, because you lose the ball and everybody's attacking and you're pushing forward. Now you got big problems if you're playing a team that is in a shape to counter you, because you're not going to have much in the way of defense there. So to me, like, maybe a more pragmatic approach does help you a bit defensively get back, but it's not the build-up, the exciting, high-paced build-up that you may want as a fan.
Yeah.
But for me, you got to be okay with a happy medium. Like, I am okay giving up some goals if you're scoring 4 or 5. Like, if you're scoring 4 or 5, I'm okay if you give up 2 goals. Shit happens when you're attacking that much. But if you're not going to score 3, 4, 5 goals and you're only going to get maybe 1 or 2, then you got to be a bit more pragmatic how you play offensively, because you can't allow all that counter attacking to be going on.
So my thing is we have to find a manager that can who stresses the central midfield, because clearly the owners, we see all the reports, we hear Poch, hinting to it, that clearly the owners and the management want Enzo and Caicedo to work, right? So with that, we have to find a manager who really works well with the central midfield. That he basically, everything stems from the central midfield, and it looks like the Zerbi and Amorim, those are probably the two that would work with the best, because their systems base around good central midfield players who can distribute the ball. Now, again, I'm worried about the defensive side with the Zerbi, and I guess I'm not sure about Amorim. What's his defensive record in the league? Like, you see, that's the problem. I don't watch it too much, and that's why it's hard for me to say too much on it, because I don't want to sound like a silly.
Yeah. Like, you're all of a sudden the Amorim expert of the world.
Yeah, who is this guy? I don't really know him.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, Jem's showing a lot of the way he attacks. How does he? What is Sporting's defensive record in the Portuguese league? Are they? If they're scoring 100 goals but they're conceding 70, 80, like, oh well.
Let's have a look. Sporting Lisbon stats. I agree, and it's. I do think there's a little bit of difference in the managers that are left. There's not any real similarities where they're all the same. They do things differently in the way that they build up. What we saw now, we saw the build up was completely different. But you're right, like the structure, the defensive duties, because I think it's okay doing all of that bit, but we've got to have a good defensive structure. We can't have someone here that's got no defensive structure, a bit like what we saw under Pochettino, which we can't be doing, you know. So it's like, what's going on here? I can't even upload it. I'm trying to get it up now, guys, but it's not working.
I'd love to see somebody come in who will put an extra midfielder in there, because I really think to unlock the best of and listen, this nonsense of people running around like trying to say Enzo's not a good, like, this is just absolute
it's stupid,
dog water. That absolute dog. You are, if that is what you want to run with, my man, put your name on it, stamp it. You can have that, but listen, Enzo is an absolute fabulous footballer. What he what he does need and requires is some defensive help around him. And the problem, him and Moyes are very similar players in that they both kind of want to get forward. And the real greatness you saw in Moyes the last few weeks when Enzo was out is not because Enzo's not there, is because the balance changed, and Connor is a much more defensive-minded guy. He gave Caicedo loads of cover to allow him to get forward a bit, to be a bit more aggressive, to pass forward. Like Enzo is just not, he's not going to give Caicedo that sort of cover, because he also wants to be getting forward. So to me, ideally, you'd have that center defensive, maybe, like a lot, like right now, on just say who we have on our team, someone, a healthy Lavia, who can just be the defensive guy cleaning stuff up, who's also very capable on the ball, can pass, can dribble, but he will be the guy that gives both those guys a little bit of cover to get forward. And I think that's when you'll really see the best of Enzo, when we got that extra midfielder. So whoever the manager is, I'd like to see him provide that extra midfielder, whether it be through a 3-5-2 or a 4-3-3, something where we have that extra midfielder.
And like when you look at like Maresca, he plays with an inverted system, so he likes his fullbacks to invert, which means if you and I've always wanted to see Enzo in the inverted role, which we unfortunately never got to see with Cucurella under Poch. So that's something where I think, okay, well, maybe that could be pretty good to see, even though it's very Poch similarities in the way that we play. He plays specifically, but then you look at like Zerbi and others and that, and Caicedo's played under Zerbi, so his role is going to be a bit more clearer in how he plays.
He also got shit for like playing. I give him credit for playing hurt. This is a guy who knows the price on his head. He knows it would look terrible if he just tapped out and said, you know what, I'm hurt, I don't really feel like I can play right now. He played through pain. He tried to help the team the best he could. I give him credit for stuff like that. I don't knock him for things like that. So the fact that he played as long as he could, through the pain, they eventually thought it was best to just knock this out and get it fixed. That's what happened. But I don't knock a guy for playing through pain. That's something I ask of guys to do.
Well, you've asked us to bring up the Sporting Lisbon stats for this year. Well, they've only conceded 29 goals and scored 96.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
That's pretty impressive, guys. I'm not going to lie. That is but again, you got to look at the league they're in and things like that. I understand all that.
Sure.
But, their home record is 17, 0 draws, 0 losses. Their away record is 12 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses.
But you know what that means? He comes with a certain mentality. Like, he's used to winning. He's used to keeping clean sheets. He's used to keeping records. Home. I'm defending the home. We're not losing it. So that type of messaging could go across to the team, and that's what I like that about Amorim. And on top of that, like, just I feel like just the aura of him out of all the other players. I know people may think aura doesn't matter, but as a manager and as a leader, you have to have some sort of aura. And if you don't walk into the room and the players don't feel something right away, then you have a problem. So I think he could bring that as well.
Yeah, I mean that is an. I mean, like you said, Jim, you take into account the league, obviously, yeah. But when you look at the Premier League, like that's the sort of gap in goals, goals for and goals against that you see. The clubs like Arsenal and City this year, they scored 80, 90, 100 goals. They're giving up 20, 29, 30 goals. Like that's the kind of disparaging number you want to see for a top team. So I while it is the Portuguese league, like, that's what you want to see from a top team in any league, is that those kind of gaps.
100%, 1,000,001%. And it's still up in the air. Listen, this can all still change, guys. We've got these names for now. It's just how quickly are we going to turn it around in terms of coach. Now, listen, if we're looking for a coach to be appointed this week, Amorim's out the window. That's for sure. If it's going into later next week, then maybe there is talks about maybe it could be an Amorim to be waiting for next week. But the interview phase, the second interview phase, I think will go over the weekend. They'll do the second interview phase. And then I think going into maybe early next week or whatever, they'll probably come to a decision. I actually thought they were going to make it wrap it up tomorrow, to be honest with you. But the fact that we've had a bit more of a slower stance with everything, I don't know. I really don't know.
Let me put this out there. Didn't Chelsea meet with Amorim already, like a month or two ago?
Yeah, they
so
looked
they
at him
don't
last
really need
summer.
to. The interviews that they're doing now is not really for Amorim. It's for all these other guys who just finished their season. So they already know what Amorim is about, so they don't really need to talk with him. I don't know if the Zerbi's is it just us putting the Zerbi in it, or is he actually being linked with it?
Well, the reason De Zerbi's been brought in it is that he's had his the compensation has been paid off by a club to Brighton for him. So in theory, he's a free agent, right? He's a free agent right now. So he's walking around as a free agent, and there's going to be talks about him because, what I heard was that the De Zerbi links were more stronger mid-season, because when they were thinking about getting rid of Poch, they were thinking about De Zerbi, weirdly enough. So, it doesn't change that we might not be talking to him now, but, I'm pretty sure there's other interested clubs like Manchester United under Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I think they're going to be looking at, improving their manager this season as well. And I think there's a lot of variation at the moment, but I do think he's one of the candidates. I just don't know how far they've gone with him. And then who is that fourth individual? Like, who is it? Is it Amorim or is it De Zerbi?
Well, that's why what you posted earlier about what Fab said about him not being, like, you couldn't not be linked to a club if a club discreetly paid your exit clause already, right? Like, even if it was so low, say the clause is like $1 million or $2 million, it was so low that a team like, say, United would pay it just to have him as an option if they wanted to get rid of Ten Hag, right? But to me, like, no club would really pay a guy's release clause and not have some sort of deal in place to bring him in. Like, I don't really know what kind of sense that makes. Unless the number is just so stupid. Yeah, it's like the number had to have been so absurdly low that you could just spend it just to make sure he's a free agent regardless. But even then, you're opening him up to other clubs to get him in the meantime. So it doesn't really make a ton of sense that somebody would have paid off his stuff, and then also he would not be linked or attached to any club. Like,
well, there's a comment here, and I agree with Johan. This is the reason why I brought it up. I know Johan is a good fella on Twitter. Give him a follow, guys. He gives good knowledge, good depth into like system breakdowns, how we set up last season, where the problems were, and a lot of me and him, like, stuff we pretty much agreed on, to be fair. But he says the unknown candidate would only need to be kept unknown if they have another match left to play. The other guys are probably just a smokescreen and used as a way to make us more like to accept the unknown candidate. So probably De Zerbi or Amorim is his thoughts on it. Yeah, listen, I do think certain names are being used to mirror. I do think that there's one focus. I don't think they're sitting in the board right now going, him or him. Oh no, we go for him. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not. They're obviously like gone through a procedure. They know they will.
There really wouldn't be anything keeping them from announcing De Zerbi right now if he was the guy. Like, I don't. True. There was nothing that says that they have to wait to announce him now. Brighton has released him officially. His deal is done. We have no manager officially. We're looking for a manager. There's nothing that could keep us from hiring him right now.
Yeah.
Like, even if they wanted to do something, like I think DeClaire was trying to say, they might want to try to cook the books for June, or like, even if they did, they don't have to have anything signed or anything. Like they could do that obviously on the back end. That they'll have people who could handle stuff like that. But there's nothing really keeping De Zerbi from being announced, right? So. Amorim seems to be the only guy who still has a game left that they would respect by not trying to link him to the job. So, who knows? It's just another day of fun rumors.
It makes sense that Amorim if the theory that it's Amorim as the unknown candidate makes the most sense because everybody else doesn't really have anything else to do for the rest of the season, you know, unless, like you said, it's a financial thing. But I don't think it's for the coach. I don't really think it's a financial thing, you know. But again, is there a number on the Zerbi's like release clause, and then is there a number on Amorim's release clause?
Yeah,
Because that could be the financial.
Amorim's got one of the biggest release, or I think the biggest release clause of a manager in Europe at the moment. As with the Zerbi, he's free agent. Everything's paid off compensation wise. He's pretty much, if Chelsea wanted to, they could have not gone through this procedure and just gone, come. But then it would have made sense who paid the compensation to Brighton. So what are they doing here? Because let's just say it is the Zerbi, right? Let's just say it is, yeah. They've gone on under the cards, paid Brighton the compensation, because don't forget Tony Bloom and Bowley are very close. We've got a lot of dealings with them. We've got good relationships with them. Like, that's always there. So they've gone and done that, all right? But why would they then go through this rigorous procedure of bringing McKenna and Maresca and Amorim and Frank and all these people having interviews and that, when you've just gone and like,
exactly.
Why would you waste time? So it's like, how true is it that how true is it that Chelsea are that involved in? Is he gone, Josh? Yeah. See you later, Josh. How true is it that we're actually that involved in the whole De Zerbi thing? Because if it's that straightforward that we really wanted him and we'd have just been active, bang, come, you're next.
Yeah, right away.
What are we waiting for?
I think this unknown thing, you know, it's kind of like a test, you know, when it's like, you know, when you got to choose a choice, multiple choice, and then the last one is like all of the above, and all of the answers are like kind of the same. You like, clearly it's all of the above. So I feel like the unknown thing is clearly he's the one that they want, you know, because why wouldn't they have announced the other people already? Again, they have no obligations anymore. The season is done. Does Ipswich have? First of all, does Ipswich have a game? Who are the other players? Corona. Like, all this, the season is done, man. So clearly the unknown candidate is the one that they want. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to get them, but that's the one that they want, you know? So
let's quickly fly away from the managers for a second and quickly talk about this Elise news, because this is quite interesting. I'm not going to lie. Secret Scout, he put up a message to Elise, who he knows, saying, "Yo, G, I should be about after training for a bit. What's it about?" And he sent him a picture of this. So he's gone to try and find out the news and around that the facts that Elise will be leaving. And where did that come from? Well, we're going to share that with you now, guys. We're going to share that with you now. It is from Fabrizio Romano, who has said today that he feels that Michael Elise leaving in the summer is a yes. There is a release clause of 60 million. Manchester United are interested since November, December. There is also Chelsea. Remember, he was one step away from joining Chelsea in the summer. So that was last season's situation. But for that to come out so quickly tells me that, you know, there's something going on with Elise.
Yep.
How do you feel about that? I know Couch is probably he's at work at the moment, would have been doing backflips right now reading this. But how do you feel about the potentials of Chelsea being interested in Elise and maybe bringing him in this season as well?
Well, in terms of the player, he's a top player. He's a baller. You know, he's one of the leading creative players in the league. You know, he could dribble, he could pass, he could shoot. You know, he has the mindset. You know, the IQ. So I think he's a good player. My only thing is, if I'm Elise and I'm looking at the Chelsea squad, right? Because this is how you have to think about things. You got Cole Palmer, Madueke, Sterling, who else? Mudryk, Jackson,
Nkunku.
Nkunku. Like, I'm not going to Chelsea.
Yeah, don't forget the Esteval we just signed as well for 60
I'm not
million
going to Chelsea if I'm Elise. I'm not going to Chelsea. Like, I could see the Manchester United. They say City is looking for a right winger.
They all fit in there though. If he goes to Man United, he slips straight in. Like, he plays.
That's what I'm saying.
So I get that. I do get that.
He's a top class player though. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, 100%. And would I like someone like Elise in the team? Yeah, I think what Elise has, what we don't have, is that final third, like, eye to pick out a ball. You know, he just has that class. Now, sometimes watch Madueke, and I feel like he misses that. He's good at like the whole dribbling and taking on, but he doesn't have that like final part of him like Elise does. And Elise, for me, if he stays fit, is a top player. And if you imagine him with Nkunku and Jesus and all them lot, blimmin' out, that would be, and Palmer as well. Palmer, Elise, Nkunku, and Jackson up front. Jesus, man.
Yeah, I like it's again, I like the player. He's a good player, but I also don't want my team to have too many of the same player in the team. You know, I need players who are gonna run in behind, do the dirty work, you know, that type of stuff. So I think we have to commit to Cole Palmer and Nkunku, and then you know, get other types of players.
I hear you. We'll come back to more on that, guys, for you as well. Apparently, Cucurella and Thiago Silva are both studying for their coaching badges, which is interesting. That just come out. Cucurella, yeah.
Come on,
Cucurella. Listen, he wants to become the next big thing, innit, with his afro.
Bloody left back and one-on-one defending first before.
Yeah. Fabrizio Romano also said that Chelsea will sign 1 or 2 centre-backs. They will have to get rid of Trevor Chalobah for financial fair play. Fucking why him? Why him? This is going to annoy me.
He was our best center back, you know, over the last like 6 weeks.
The small amount of players that I actually like in our team, and he's one of them. It's fucking. I'm not allowed. I've realised it at Chelsea. I'm not allowed that happiness. They always get rid of like the ones that I actually fond of for a reason, and I'm fond of for a reason.
It's always a money thing, bro. It's always a money thing. We've become this money. Everything revolves around money for us, unfortunately. Like, I know that's business, kind of, you know, but
why the fuck are we sending 1 or 2 centre backs? If we get rid of Chalobah and Silva, and we've got Fofana, right? Fofana's not even there, but Colwill, Badiashile, Disasi. Surely we've got to be getting rid of another one. If
get rid of Disasi, man. Like, I don't know, hate to Disasi, but like, he's the odd one out to me.
I mean, some people say Badiashile though as well. So it's a toss of a coin for me personally. In my opinion, I'm not really like more one or the other. I think they're both like. I think Disasi's shown a bit of better form than Badiashile in last season, but like, and we've seen that. But then at the same time, Badiashile's just been injured, isn't he? What can he do? Like, you know, so it's a hard one. But
and then on top of that, who are we linked? What center backs are we linked with? Because that's the real question there.
Well, he should be one. He should have. I know that sounds stupid, but if he was staying, I would have given him one of the positions at the moment, just for the way that he's playing, you know. And then I would have just got someone. Either if Fofana came back and he wasn't fit, you just have him on the bench. You then get him in, or you put Colwill, or you buy someone experienced that can come in and sit next to someone like him. But then you're like sitting there thinking to yourself, why did I spend 30-odd million on Badiashile and 30-odd million on fucking Disasi?
My thing is, who the hell are we gonna get to replace? You know, because Silva and Chalobah leaving, we have to bring in at least one center back. You know, I don't know if Fofana is scheduled to be back this upcoming season. You don't even hear about it.
Oh, if he better be, because if he ain't, he needs to be sold.
You don't even hear about it though. Like, is he gonna be ready for preseason? Is he training? You just hear he's just listed on the injury list and nothing. That's it. Is he training? Has he been training?
He's going through his program still of getting back into
rehab.
He'll be ready for training going into preseason. I'm pretty sure. But
hopefully, because we need these players to be in preseason.
100%. 101%. Guys, we're not going to do too much of a long one. We've done an hour and 15 minutes right now. We literally, with the news, we're coming in and we're coming out and we're smashing it. Until we get big news, we get proper news where we're like, this is it. Trust me, the panel will all be here and we'll sit down and go through and do like a 2-hour show. Do you know what I mean? Like, easily, hands down. Like, so right now we've got 500 people, still 515 people in it, man. Big up every single one of you that are all in here. There's not much more news for me to share for you at the moment, guys, right now, other than what we've gone through. What we've done is gone through Enzo Maresca. We've gone through McKenna, Zerbi and Almiron and their playing styles. Now, they're the 4 that are standing out the most. We are hearing that Frank is also included. I do think more is going to change as well as time goes on. So we will be coming back. Listen, if we get big news tonight, I'm on. Like, you're going to see me. So, like, don't worry. I will be on. As soon as there's big news, we will be highlighting it. We'll be going through it. We'll be breaking it down. When the decision's made, we'll be tactically breaking it down, trying to understand the individual selected. We've got loads and loads and loads to go on for you guys. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, GNA TV, guys, which is over here. If you could do that, we're on the road to 10K over there, guys. If you could go over to that channel, this one here, GNA TV, go and give it a follow on YouTube. That's where they're watching us all over there at the moment. There's over 100 people on that side at GNA TV as well watching, guys. Big up to the GNA TV people that support me on there as well. And then you've got, obviously, Chelsea Fan TV, 200 people here today as well. We've got 350 people on Twitter watching us right now as well, which is big up to you guys over there on Twitter as well. Lots going on, guys. Lots going on. Can't bring you a definitive answer, guys, but if you were to throw me in the mix and ask me where do I think we're going to go next, I think we're going to go down to 2 managers. I think that's the way they're going to do it. I think they're going to break it down even more. And then once we get that question mark of who that manager is, hopefully sooner rather than later, then I think the images is more clearer. So I don't want to predict yet. It's hard to do it now because I want to know who the fourth is. Once I know who the fourth is, and I think it clears out. But remember, it could be one of 2 things. It could be that the fourth is kept quiet because that's that's the man, and all the other names are just mirrors.
Yep.
So right, or the fourth is just PR, and it's just one of the 3 that we've been named, which is there, which is like, and if it goes down to 2 people for me, the 2 championship coaches, Enzo Maresca or McKenna. If it is that, I think it goes down to the 2 championship coaches. So we have to see what happens there. Jim, any managerial appointment must be taken with a pinch of salt. It's a very intriguing question. Nice work as always. Yeah, big up, man. We appreciate you. Vic as well, declared in the building, got here late. How many championship managers are we linked with? 2. But yeah, guys, an hour and 15 minutes in. We're going to stop it here because we don't want to just drag it out and bore it off. But listen, any news breaks tonight, I'm back. I'll be back. And it doesn't matter what time it is, we'll be doing shows. All right. Big up, guys. We appreciate it. Take care. Let's go. We're going to get an answer soon, guys. It's coming. I can feel it. Make sure you hit the like buttons when you leave. Leave a comment below. Let us know who you want as manager as well. And let's see what happens, guys. Peace. Take care.